Harold Park Raceway. I will be critiquing this development application from the perspective of Council. The subject site is Harold Park Raceway and the Rozelle Tram Depot. It is 2.5 kilometres to the Sydney CBD and over 10 hectares. The City of Sydney Council and the Central Sydney Planning Committee collaborated to rezone with a site-specific LEP and DCP and assess the future development of the site. The CSPC determines applications for major developments over $50 million. It allows for local and state government representation in the planning process. In December 2010, property developer Mirvac buys the site. In 2011, Mirvac lodged for a stage development application across 3 DAs, the Master Plan, Precinct 1 and Precinct 2. The Master Plan sought approval for 6 residential precincts, 16 building envelopes, 1,250 dwellings, 3.8 hectares of public open space, 2,500 square metres of affordable housing, and restoration and adaptation of the tram sheds. During the CSPC's assessment of the DA, they raised some concerns to Mirvac, which were dealt with through a voluntary planning agreement. These included improvements to the connectivity and access of the site, changes to the quality of open space, and securing an $8.25 million in development contributions for community benefit. During the community consultation period, over 1,800 residents were notified and 224 submissions received. Traffic was a major issue raised by the community. Residents were concerned with the access points to the site, especially along Wigram Road, which was originally more of a back street. They were also concerned with additional traffic congestion. Council addressed these concerns with additional traffic lights and road improvements with the support of the state government. They also did several independent traffic impact studies, including a micro-simulation. They also required Mirvac to do additional studies at their cost. Heightened density was also another major concern for the community. Council answered that the development complies with the controls set out in the LEP and DCP that were designed in the rezoning. The heightened density enables a contribution to state government housing targets and affordable housing, but also for the provision of open space. The limit of 8 stories is also compatible with the scale of the surrounding area, as it's equivalent to the height of the development to the adjoining cliffs. As you can see here, the development fits with the topography of the area rather than stands out above it. Local residents were also concerned with the parking. Some wanted more to reduce the impact on the surrounding streets, others requested less to reduce the traffic and improve the sustainability of the site. They were also worried about potential overshadowing. Council assessed the shadow diagram submitted by Mirvac that show there's minimal shadowing impact of the development. Seen here at 9 AM on the winter solstice, the most possible impact of shadowing, there is little impact because of the significant space between the proposed development and the existing buildings. Council was also able to negotiate with Mirvac for increased environmental sustainability. Through the LEP, if the proposed buildings exceed BASIC's targets by 25%, Council would permit an FSR bonus of 10,000 square metres. However, Council would only allocate this at the determination of each DA. Mirvac achieved this. In July 2012, the CSPC approved Stage 1 overall master plan for the site, then approved Stage 2 DAs in September 2012. Overall, it has been a successful development completed in a timely manner. Council and the CSPC managed a balancing act to address the needs of the state government, the community and Mirvac. However, in managing this compromise, Council had to impose sacrifices on each party. The highlights of this development include the Council and the CSPC as the concerned authority, the open space and the tram sheds given back to the community, and the heightened density was a great outcome as it achieved open space, housing targets and was in character with the area. The development shows the importance for councils to make a clear and prescriptive development controls. Mirvac bought the land knowing the full confines of the development. This allowed for a smoother DA process with less time spent on negotiations. The council seriously considered the impact of this development on their community throughout the rezoning and DA process. They tried hard to lessen the impact of the development, especially in regards to traffic, density, bulk and scale. In comparison to other urban infill areas such as Central Park and the Camperdown Children's Hospital, the density and height is considerably lower. It is evident that because of the decisions made during the extensive rezoning process and the care taken with the DA, the community has been made a priority throughout the entire process. However, on the flip side, the lowlights of this development include the traffic. While Council and Mirvac appear to mitigate this as much as possible, there will ultimately be more traffic in the area to cause additional congestion. Urban renewal sites characteristically have issues with traffic. However, it's outweighed by the overall benefits, especially with this site with providing an additional 2,500 homes to people. However, perhaps the council could have taken a stronger stance against the community and the developer to limit parking to reduce car ownership and thus traffic in the new development. The development as a whole lacked environmental sustainability. While the additional BASIX requirements were a step in the right direction, this is minimal and council had an opportunity to impose more, but this was potentially during the rezoning process. Despite the care taken with the community, there were still disengaged people who were unhappy with the development despite the clear compromises council made. Hopefully, as the development is completed, the community as a whole will look upon the council's management of the site favourably, especially in comparison to other similar developments. Some recommendations based on this development for future large-scale developments. The Council and the CSPC as the concerned authority, as they have shown to successfully manage the competing needs of the various stakeholders. A site-specific LEP and DCP, as seen here, with extensive community consultation and specific controls. And also impose parking restrictions for urban renewal sites to reduce congestion.
I can tell there's something going on.